Guys. Hi,
Hi,
Betty. Hi,
guys.
Brenda. Hi, Sharma.
Hi, Betty. Hi, Brenda. Hi,
You guys
Sharma.
ready to tie a whole
You
bunch
guys
of
ready to
ribbons?
tie a whole bunch of ribbons?
Lots and lots of bows.
Lots and
today.
lots of
Lots
bows
of bows
today.
today.
Lots of bows today.
There's Hester. Hi,
There's
Hester.
Hester. Hi,
Betty Gosel.
Hester.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Betty Gosel. Hi, Andrea.
It's Mary R. There. Somebody said
It's
hi to
Mary
Mary
R.
R.
There.
She
Somebody
must
said
be
hi to
there.
Mary R. She must be in there.
Could be.
Could
Hello,
be.
guys.
Hello, guys.
Down arrow, please.
Down arrow, please.
And if you would move those
And if
molds
you would move those molds a little bit so I can actually see the screen, because my part of my screen is locked. Now I can see my screen. Now I can see you guys. Are you guys ready to get started tying lots and lots of bows? Boy, my table's dirty. Oh well. So we got our bowmakers. Excuse me?
Hester is Mary R.
Oh,
Hester is
Mary R.
I believe she signed in that way.
Aha. Aha. Okay, you can try to fool me. There's an echo, Brenda says. Do you have everything turned off properly?
Nope, I missed one.
He missed one. He's fixing it. How's that now? Is that better? Better, guys? Better. Okay. All right. So I got all my bow makers out here. I think I actually have one that's not here. It's just like this one, but gold. But yeah, this is my oldest one. This is the one I learned to tie everything on. These haven't been available for quite a long time now. But in case you have one, it is tines and that are just like this one, except it's longer. So if you happen to have this, follow the blueberry bowmaker designs. These are the ones we're actually going to use today. And we are going to just jump right in. Hello, Betty McSorley. Okay, good deal. So we're going to start out. I think the most obvious place to start is with a single. So let's just get right into this, shall we? A single can be tied in virtually anything. Hi, Patrice. A single can be tied in virtually any size. I'll start here with this kind of daffodil colored one. Why? Because it's spring, and doesn't that just make some sense? Maybe it'd probably be more daffodilish if it was lighter, but oops. You know what I forgot to do was to get out one of my pairs of scissors and because my thread was raveling at the end. Let's sharpen those just a little bit so they'll cut our ribbon nicely. Isn't that amazing? This is the same scissors I use on paper every day. A little sharpener really gets a good edge on them. Okay, so we can tie virtually almost any ribbon. I mean, I can't think of one I can't tie as a single. We'll do it first on the reds and then we'll do them on the blueberries. And I can tie any size I want. I'm going to tie a small bow here. Let's tie this. Yeah, the red doesn't have any numbers on it. I'm going to tie this at a 3 on the small, just to get a really small bow. Remember that we are now just picking up one tine. Back in the 70s, I used 1/8-inch ribbon, little tiny off-rate 1/8-inch ribbon, and I tied hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little tiny bows, like 1/2-inch bows or less. Not using this bow maker, I tied them by hand in those days because I didn't have this neat tool. Yeah, that's true. My cheapest pair of scissors cuts ribbon beautifully. and I glued them on the earring posts, and I sold hundreds and hundreds of those little bows on the earrings. I had a store that put up a board for me, and I sold macrame jewelry, and I sold those little ribbon bows, those little bows on earrings. And the first year that Bryce and I were hanging out together, I can't say we were dating because we weren't, we were just hanging out together. I made his mom a Christmas card that I tied little tiny, the same size bows, and I made it was like a 5x7 tree. I stamped a tree, and then I put rhinestones, tiny bows, and stuff on that tree. So you can tie even just the littlest bows using our embellishment attic bow makers. This was tied on 3 on the red. Tiny, tiny bows. And we can go clear on up, and as we've seen in our other class, we can even tie crocheted ribbon and that using this red bow maker. So we can go little, we can tie much larger ones. Let's try a little of this 1-inch organza. So a single, we can tie just about any kind of ribbon in our single size. I know that's not really where we want to go, but I thought we'd just start at the bottom and build up on our boards, huh? And each time we talk about one, we'll talk about the best kinds of ribbon to use in it. Does that make some sense to you? The best kinds of ribbon to use to tie that. And you guys need to participate in this because you guys, hi Roberta, you guys have been tying lots and lots of styles of bows that I've seen on your cards and heard about from you. So oh, that's pretty. Had some dried flowers in a small plastic bottle with a cork lid that were made into earrings. How cute. I'll bet that was sweet. Okay. So you can tie a really pretty, just soft, beautiful bow in 1-inch material using organza or lots of other kinds of material. 1-inch is, there's not, as long as we're tying small bows for cards, 1-inch is, did you hurt yourself again, Patrice? This is 1-inch here. And I want to try, let's see, I have a 1-inch satin here. 1-inch is going to be almost too big for most small cards unless you're tying a single. 1-inch is going to be kind of limited to single bows, maybe doubles, but it's going to get too big for a card fairly quickly. So there's not a lot of the bows that we're going to do today that we could use on 1-inch material. Oops, I have to move that out. Here's a 1-inch satin. Let's try that. Here, I'll use the other bow maker this time. You can tie a 1-inch in any size from your smallest setting to your largest setting on your bow. A single is what I'm trying to say, not a 1-inch. You can tie a single from any size on your bow maker. It's going to look good. It's just a matter of how much you have room for on your card. You guys know whatever we do on the right, we're going to do on the left. Single-sided ribbon like this satin ribbon, we're going to twist it a little so that the not shiny side faces us.
What size of card did you say you would stay clear of using 1 inch unless a single?
What size card? What size card are you saying you should steer clear of with 1 inch? You just need to, on a small card, this bow right here that I just tied at like 2.5 inches, that's going to just take over a small card, right? Occasionally, if I was, the one exception I would make to my keep the ribbon small on your smaller cards, you can tie a single and you can get away with that because I can tie a single in just about any size I want to. But if I'm going to tie a bow and that bow is going to be the centerpiece of my card, yeah, that bow can be big and fabulous, and I might be able to tie it out of 1 inch. But just an accent bow, you're going to probably want to keep them smaller than what you're going to tie a single. So it's not so much what you're limited in. I could use a 1 inch bow and still put it on a European A6 or an A2 if I tie my bow small enough and it's out of a proper material. But I wouldn't go much bigger than this, probably ever, on a tiny card, on a small card. So we've got our singles, and I can tie that out of heavy material, big material, little material. I can tie that out of anything. Okay. Let's go to doubles. Let's do a double, and we can use just about any material on a double, but like I said, with this big material, like this one, that bow's going to get pretty big pretty fast. So I'm probably going to stay smaller than a 1 inch if I'm tying a double. Let's get a 1/2 inch here. Or I could still use a 5/8. I can use a 1/2 inch. I have so many ribbon choices here, it's ridiculous. Bryce is saying, let me tie one more 1 inch because this is beautiful. I don't have any more of this. I'm coming down to the very last of my supply. So those of you who are going to say, I want that ribbon, where do I get it? I don't know. If I could find it, I'd buy more. But we do have in the store a really, really, really beautiful selection of striped ribbons that have foiling on them. In the striped ribbon, it's like I can't remember what that section's called. We do have some ribbon that's like organza with stripes, metallic stripes on it. That's really beautiful. It'll give you a similar effect to what this striped metallic ribbon here does. Yeah, 1 inch is pretty big for a small card. You're right, Roberta. You can get away with it if you tie the bow small enough, but you just are going to have to watch the size of that bow. If it's a small card, it'll just take over. Okay, I promise we're done with 1 inch. I'm not going to mess with 1 inch anymore. Because 1 inch is really probably almost always I'm going to tie a single if I'm using one. This ribbon here is a little stiffer than the last ribbon that I had that looked like this. And so this one takes a little bit more manipulation, but it's still pretty. Okay, so let's go to let's do that double we talked about. Here's this, what I was calling daffodil. Okay, so you know that on a double we're going to do everything at the same width. So if I do a 5 on one side, which is what I chose to do on this blueberry bowmaker, if I do a 5 on one side, I'm going to do a 5 on the other, right? How many of you are working along? I need to know. It doesn't really matter what kind of ribbon you guys are using, guys. It's really more a matter of the size for our, as we make our charts. So this right here is actually a 4/10. I was reaching for a 1/2 inch, but I actually got a 4/10 ribbon here, which for your chart can be 4/10 or it could be a 3/8 inch. If that makes sense. They're so close to the same size.
Now, is this a 5/5 or a 5/4?
This is a 5/5. That's your recipe. 5/5 is your recipe for this one. Now, you can tie a double at almost any size too. So I would say your double, depending on the size of your ribbon, your double can be tied anywhere from a 2 clear up to, a 7 is as wide as this bowmaker goes, but you can tie a double, as wide as you want it to be. For bowmaking, you're probably not going to go much more than 2 or 2.5 inches.
Whee! There you go.
Okay, you got me now? Okay, I'm back. All right. Okay, so a double, I would say for purposes of our board, what I'm going to do in there on my board is I'm going to say what my recipe is, and this can be the singles and doubles can be just about any size ribbon, and they can be made in almost any size. A double in 1 inch is going to be getting really big unless you're putting it on a big card. But I can go any size ribbon. Look how pretty that is. Just those little, I'm going to call them petals because I always do. I'll do, even if I try to call them loops, they'll still end up being petals. That's just pretty, isn't it? It's not something that takes over. It's still a really simple design. Trying to get it face on the camera. There we go. But it's just pretty. Okay.
Can they order glue yet?
Can you order glue yet?
Yeah. Can we order glue?
Yeah. Best glue ever? I have best glue ever. Oh, glue guns? Is that what you're asking? Somebody was wanting a glue gun. I can just call them petals. You'll know what I mean. Thank you. Let's try another double in a different material. This is a 1/2 inch, so it's going to be just a little bit wider than the last one we used. And then we'll do one in organza. This one I'm doing at, let's do this one at, I don't know, a 4. Let's do it at a 4. I love this. This woven iridescent ribbon is flexible enough that you can really tie just about any bow you want and it's just so soft and pliable that everything turns out good when it's done in this woven iridescent. It's really good quality ribbon. We were so fortunate to get the deal we got on this, I'll tell you.
Now is that a 434?
This is a 4-4. Yeah. I questioned myself then. I thought, did I tie and bow it for? I did. It's just going to be a little bow this time. This is a 4-4 done on the woven iridescent. So when we do our doubles, our recipe is just going to be that both petals are going to be on the same number. And you can tie this out of almost anything. I may need to sharpen my scissors a little bit more. I got a spot there it didn't want to cut. But aren't they pretty? Oh, I love that woven iridescent. It's so pretty. So we got a little one. Let's tie a little bit. Let's try a. Let's do an organza in the. This is a 5/8 inch. Let's do a double in this. One of my favorite ribbons here, as you guys know. I'm going to tie this at.
We're shipping the large cosmic shimmer glues, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, you can buy glue. I never stopped shipping it, but some of my manufacturers did. But I have Cosmic Shimmer. Yes, I do have it available. Whatever I do at one side, I'm going to do it the other side. So if I'm tying a 5, it's going to be a 5/5 on a double, right? And for appropriate materials, I would say you do not generally want to tie a double out of really heavy material because your knot's going to get so big. You know, the knot's just going to be too big and bulky on a really heavy material like the crocheted ribbon. I would only ever do, I think, a single out of the crocheted ribbon because it's just too bulky. So I would say you can do a double out of anything except the most heavy materials. I'd skip the heavy materials and use those only for the.
Now this was a 5/5.
This was a 5/5 out of that really gorgeous blue and purple. They retired this ribbon. I got some before they retired it, but they retired this ribbon and all of that, or the ombre ribbon. I think I still have a few packs of the ombre where it has the dual colors on the ribbon. But there's my double in a 5/5 with a 5/8 inch ribbon. I think I could go up fairly easily to a 7/8 inch ribbon. As long as my card's big enough, I could go to a tails of this one don't want to behave this time. There we go. Okay. Let's tie a bigger one. Now, if I were doing like a wedding card where the bow becomes kind of a focal point, a lot of times on a wedding card, you know, the bow becomes a really important part of it. I could probably get away with using this wider organza. Let's tie a 1 inch and just see what we think about how big it is. If the bow's going to be a focal point, I think I could get away with it. And organza, because it's see-through, doesn't have the same, you know, it's not going to look as gigantic as some ribbons will. Tie that. I should have probably tied this in a different color so you could see it better against the table.
So it's a 5/5 too?
This is a 6/6.
And that's the 1-inch ribbon.
This is 1 inch. And it might be too big, but let's see. One thing about the organza that can help us is that with the organza ribbon, you can spread it out or not. So if I just want a more intense color, I could just layer those up and it won't take up any more room than it would take as a single. But if I wanted to make it bigger and fluffier and put a ribbon slide on it and just really kind of make it a focal point of like a wedding card, I could spread those petals out and it gets big and fluffy. Okay, so that's most definitely going to be my biggest double. And I would only use this in the case that it was like a wedding card or something where the bow is really going to kind of be a focal. All right, let's move on. And one of the ribbons that one of the styles, well, we can do, before we move on, let's do a triple. Let's get a different color here. Let's do a triple bow in 1/2 inch. This time we're going to do like a 5/5/5. What's the 4/6/6?
That was the double up 4. You did 4 doubles.
Oh, okay, got it.
6/6.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do this at 5 and I'm going to tie. I'm actually going to make all 3 loops the same. So I'm going to do 5/5/5. This is a 1/2 inch ribbon. All of them at the same number. So when I put my board on the wall, I'm going to say, whoops, what's my bow style? What's my recipe? My bow style, my recipe, kind of what sizes are the best with it. And maybe a recommendation of the kind of ribbon to use. So here's my triple. It begins to look a little bit like a loopy bow when you leave them all the same, all the petals the same width. It begins to look a little bit like a loopy bow. So there's my first triple. We have this kind of narrow. Let's use a 1/4 inch in our woven iridescent ribbon. We'll tie another one in 1/4 inch. This is really going to look like a loopy bow when I do this.
It's going to be another 5/5/5.
Sure. Or we can, let's see, this is a narrow ribbon. Let's do it at 4 just for the sake of argument. Let's do 4, 4, 4 this time. All the same. All the same width.
You said this was 1/4 inch?
This is a 1/4 inch ribbon. Some of the 1/4 inch woven iridescent. Oh, I cut that way too long, didn't I? You guys doing okay with me there? Am I going too fast? If I'm going too fast, tell me. Here's a triple. You really don't have to have multiple bow samples. You just really kind of almost have to have one on your board. I thought we'd look at multiples. So once again, we can see how they look in different ribbons. That's pretty. Isn't that pretty? That's the woven iridescent. That's done in a triple. But you can see when we do these triples, it's going to want to be fairly narrow ribbon. It likes a more narrow ribbon. Here's a 1/4 inch. Did we do satin yet? No. Here's a 1/4 inch satin. And on all of these, I've been staying small enough in the size that your recipe's really going to pretty much be the same for a. In fact, I think we've done enough loopy bows or triples. Let's do a loopy bow with this one, shall we? Let's go out to number 5. I hope I cut this long enough. Let's go out to number 5. I don't think I did. I'm going to cut a longer piece of that. Because we're going to do a loopy bow, or I'm just going to leave it attached till I'm done. Let's do a loopy. Hi, Wanda. And let's go out to number 5. And I'm going to go around, then I'm going to go around, and I'm going to go around again. And then I'm going to just keep going around till I have as many as I want. So this is 2, here's 3. I think I'm going to do like 5 loops on this one just to really emphasize the whole loopy bow thing. So that's 3. 4, you wouldn't want a heavy ribbon to do this. 4, 4. I didn't grab any baker's twine. I need a baker's twine to do a loopy ribbon too. Can you steal me one of those ribbon packs and then I'll put back in the loopy ribbon because I don't know where the ribbon supplies are right now. Okay, I got 5 loops on there. I got a lot of ribbon on that. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. This is 1/4 inch ribbon. Roberta. I use both hands or both kinds of glue. I go through a lot. Yep, we only order in small supplies, so you're not getting stale glue when you get it from us. That is true. You don't want to half your life expectancy for your glue bottle used up before you get it. Okay, here's a loopy bow. Let's pull this off and see how this looks. This has got lots and lots of loops the same size. That's pretty. Isn't that pretty? There's a first loopy bow. We're going to do one Now we'll do a second loopy bow. So we've done our singles, we've done our doubles, we've done a couple triples. There's our first loopy bow. Let's get a piece of baker's twine. Oh, look at you. You even just brought me the bag. That's awesome. We're going to do a baker's twine one.
Say hi to Catherine
Hi, Catherine.
and Wanda.
I said hi to Wanda already. Hi, Wanda again. Crocheting tonight. What y'all doing? We are making up some bow samples to create a bow board for our wall. So we're looking at our recipes. This first one's single, and we've already said a single we can do in virtually any size we want to
Pull
and
back.
almost any material. Excuse me?
Can't see them.
Oops. We can do them in almost any material in any size and do a single bow with our embellishment attic bow maker. Then we've said you probably want to keep those, generally to smaller sizes as you go into the loopy bows. And we looked at this one, which is a 1 inch, and I don't think you'd want anything any bigger than that. It'd have to be something where you had some space to do a 1 inch and a double. But those are doubles, and that's both loops the same size. And we can make those doubles depending on the size of our material. The smaller our material, the smaller we can go with the bows. And then we did some triples where all 3 loops are the same. And we can use any material on this. Although when you get into making 3 petals with it, when you're doing a triple, you probably want smaller material. Then we just did our first loopy bow, and our loopy bow is done at the same size, multiple wraps around. Now we're going to do one out of baker's twine. Remember, when we do baker's twine, we want to double our baker's twine for 2 reasons. One, we won't have to tie as many loops with it, and that's always good. And 2, because baker's twine can break when we tie it off. And if we have twice as much ribbon there, or twice as much of the material, we're less likely to break it. So I'm tying at 5, and I'm just going to go around and around for as long as my material lasts, or until I have what I think is going to be plenty and plenty of loops. But I'm just going to keep going back and forth. I'm at a 5 now. You can do this at, I'd say, probably a 4 to a 6. You could go up as high as a 6 if you were tying a bigger card, but 4s and 5s primarily. This is the one that's going to give us what I have called kind of the butterfly effect. I think that's about what I want. And I have one, I'm using a doubled thread, and I have 1, 2, 3, I have 5 loops on there, but it's doubled. So it's going to give me 10 petals. I'm going to come around like normal. I'm going to tie this off. Now, when you are tying these, remember that because this thin material pops right through your bow maker, you have to kind of keep track of where your center is and pull this taut at center. It's going to try and move around on you a little bit. So you want to kind of force that knot into the center. I'm going to pull this nice and tight. I'll pull it off my bow maker. And this is the one I've kind of called my butterfly, because I love it when you spread that out, how that looks. It kind of looks like a butterfly. Okay. Hi, Diane. So there's my...
Hi to Elsie.
Hi, Elsie. Welcome. Okay. So there's some those are our loopy bows. Okay, it's time to start with some of our specialty bows.
They're asking, can you do a champagne bow?
A champagne
Do you
bow.
have a champagne ribbon?
Do I have a champagne color? I must have.
Well, you have a glass of champagne with your bow.
How's this? Is this good? It's kind of a light gold. Is that a good one? A champagne bow.
Well, let's see. It started back with Wanda saying she needed a champagne bow for her granddaughter's wedding box.
I got it.
And Roberta asked if you could do a champagne bow.
Okay. Well, let's tie. I think this is going to be for a wedding, though. Let's hold off and let's do, maybe we'll do this same champagne in a couple different styles so you can see what it looks like. This is a light golden yellow, which I think would be a nice champagne, maybe, if you guys agree that's champagne.
Wanda
Let's
says
try
pretty.
it in different bows. That'd be fun. So let's do our traditional 515 to start with. Let's get our red bowmaker where we originally came up with the 515, and let's go 5, which is the last of the little tie. Then let's come out. We're going to start tying our specialty bows now, where we're going to different widths. We're going to go to number 1 next. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So I did a 5, then I did a 1. Now I'm going to do another 5. And let's look at what a 515 looks like. I do think this ribbon, this bow looks good up to about 5/8 inch material. You can go a little bit bigger with satins. You're going to get kind of a pleated look as it kind of pulls all that together. I think you could go up to a 7/8. I would not go any wider than that with satin because it'd just be too bunchy. Here is our first specialty bow. This one is our 515. I hope you're going to be able to see it against the table color. Maybe you can see it against me. Can you see that?
Can you hold it up against?
Oh, that's good. Thank you, honey. Bryce got us a piece of dark paper to hold it up against. There's our 515. The center loop is wider than the other two. 515 on our champagne ribbon. So we're going to keep this one out as one example. We're going to tie that champagne in several different colors, or in several different styles of ribbon. Let's try a 515 done on a little, oh, where's my crepe? I had crepe ribbon here. That looks really good with crepe ribbon. What did I do with it? I'm going to figure out what I did with the crepe ribbon.
This box? Over here? Over here?
Oh, is it in here?
I don't know. I was just...
There's crepe ribbon. Good job, honey. Okay, let's tie that in crepe. You guys know that crepe is one of my absolute favorite ribbons for tying bows. And I'll tell you the reason why I like crepe as one of my favorites is because the crepe ribbon is so lightweight that once you tie it, it has like no weight at all at the bow. It's still virtually flat. Let's go back to our red bowmaker. And let's tie a 515 with the crepe so we can see. Now this crepe ribbon is 7/8 inch wide, and it's going to still turn out great. Here's a 5. We're going to come around 1. Remember the new technique now when you guys are doing this where you're going just around 1 tine in the comb instead of back and forth like I taught you originally, because what we're finding is if you go around just one time, you don't have to dig the petals out from inside each other. They just stay side by side, which is pretty cool. That was a good discovery that they that we could improve on that original bow design that I showed you by just grabbing one tine. I do like that. Okay, we're coming around. Boy, I love crepe. We have a beautiful selection of crepe ribbon in the store too. We really do. You can buy it by the color, in 1 yard pieces and multiple color packs, or you can get whole rolls of it. See, I don't even have to do anything to that anymore. Now it just pulls right out. And see, because of the weight of this material, even though that's a wide ribbon and I'm tying a specialty bow with it, it still turns out perfect. And if you have a piece of crepe there and you've tied this one, the knot is like almost non-existent. It's not like there's a big knot in the middle. It's very soft. So isn't that pretty? Where's our black? This is beautiful. Look how striking that is. One of my favorite bows, 515. Okay, so we got our 515. We've tied it in crepe at 7/8. It works great. We've tied it in 1/2 inch organza. Now, I don't think I can tie. Let's use this piece I cut earlier. Let's just try an experiment. I don't know that I have ever tied this in a little tiny bow, but let's try that because that might be fun. Let's see how small we can go and have that 515 look good. Let's go to let's tie, and we've got a 1/4 inch piece. Are you going to sleep on me over there?
Mm-hmm.
You're stimulating when your cameraman falls asleep on you. Okay, I'm going to tie a 3-4-3 on my littlest bowmaker. Let's see what this looks like if we do this really tiny. I'll bet it's cute. 3-4-3.
What size of ribbon?
1/4 inch. I'm going to try and tie this really small and just see what it looks like. I've never done this before. We're trying it out.
Andrea tied one in teal, and it's beautiful.
Excellent. Excellent, Andrea. Now, I will say that the 515 is almost a perfect size bow for a card because it works out to be just a little under 2 inches wide, which is perfect for most of the size cards we tie. Let's see what this looks like. This could be really fun. Oh, that's cute. It's cute. For, where I just want a small accent bow. My tail's turned as well as I would have liked. Turn those off a little bit. Oops. Come on. Need to sharpen my scissors some more. It's cute. I don't think it's as elegant as my big bows, but it's cute. But I could tie a little bow. So that's still in that 515 style. That happened to have been a 3-4-3. But the 515s are just really beautiful. Let's see. Do I have anything else we want to try that in? Let's do one of those in the. We didn't do a woven iridescent yet. Let's do one of those in there, and then we'll move on into a different style. Let's use this one. Got a little snag in this ribbon, but I think I can just pull it out. Let's do a 515 in this 1/2 inch. So I think we've ascertained already that we could do a 515 in anything. I mean, we can tie an extra small one. That's just kind of a novelty bow there. I'm going to say it's generally going to be a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch ribbon that you're going to use with a 515. I'm going to say a 1/2 to 3/4. Here's my 5. Let's tie a 1. Excuse me. It's especially great in crepe. It's also nice in organza, though. It is nice in organza, too. 5, 1, and then let's do the 5 again. I cut this too long again. Here's our woven iridescent. This is really a nice ribbon for this, too. I didn't get it turned quite enough. There we go. So I want my shiny side up, or my shiniest side up. So actually, here in a lighter piece of paper. You know, sometimes, I don't know why it is, that sometimes you have to tweak a bow more than, excuse me, sometimes more than others. This is one of those, let's tweak it a lot once. Here's my 515. Hey, look at that color and you think, what do you use that color for? You use this for anything that's nature themed. It will be beautiful with this ribbon. Ones with pets, ones with horses, ones with, more masculine themes, wood themed things, outdoor themes. This ribbon's beautiful. Okay, so I think that's enough of her 515s or 454s, or it's going up one space, but that's my bow I call my 515. Let's try some of our specialty recipes that have been submitted by some of our crafty friends for our bows. Loopy bows. Okay, so we've got, so far here, we've got our singles, our doubles, our triples, our loopies. We've got our 515s. Now let's do a specialty bow. This one was submitted by Kathy S. Kathy Girl. And this time, I want you to grab a piece of 1/2 inch, and I'll slow down this time because I want you guys to work with me. Let's get a 1/2 inch piece of satin. Satin would work really well for this. I used this already, did not. Let's get a 1/2 inch piece of satin. Going to want a fairly long piece. And let's do Kathy Girl's recipe. Kathy started at a 3 on the Blueberry Bowmaker. So she started at 3.
Mary R said that you told Teddy he needs a haircut, but they're noticing your hair's getting a little long too.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
Sharma suggests with the recipe it would be nice to know the length of the ribbons.
Oh, good idea. We'll go back and do that because I like that idea. That's a really good idea. Sharma, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so this one, I'm going to say you want probably 2/3 of a yard with this one. You need at least 2 feet of ribbon for this one. We'll do these as we go now. All right, so we got 3. Now we're going to go to 5. Yeah, oh, she must have done this on the. She did this on the red bowmaker, but we can adapt the recipe. 3, 5. 3, 5. Okay. Then she went clear out to 7, which on your blueberry bowmaker is going to be the outside rung. 3, 5, 7. Back to 5. And back to 3. And it's going to look like a hot mess about now. Don't worry, it'll work out. And down through the hole. Scooch that all together. As you come down over the top, scooch it together some more. Let's tie that off, making sure that our knot stays right in the middle. I want to do this in the champagne. Next, we'll do the same bow on the red bowmaker in champagne. Okay, it looks like this on your bowmaker before you take it off. Okay, slide that off of there. This is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a big bow, but it's a beauty. Let's put it in black. This is Kathy S.'s recipe. Kathy girl. This was a 3, 5, 7, 5, 3 with 2. And you may even want to make that. Let's make that a yard of ribbon. Make that a yard of ribbon, because I think I cut close to a yard, and you can see what I have left for tails. You better make that a yard on this one. 1 yard of ribbon. Is that just gorgeous or what? How beautiful is that? You're wrapping that around your card. That is just going to be fabulous. Okay, let's try that again and use our champagne this time, since we're working on a perfect champagne colored bow. I'm going to get another yard of ribbon here, roughly a yard. That's okay. I can go out rough. I won't use rough measures when I'm measuring for your kits, but when I do my own stuff, it's always just lop off a piece. Okay, her actual recipe was on the red bowmaker, and she said tie it at 3, 5, 1. So let's do 3. Are you guys tying along with this one?
Somewhere.
3, then let's go to 5. Now let's go to 1. Then 5. Then 3. I'm going to go down through the hole. Maybe I actually ended up with too much ribbon this time. got a couple feet left. Okay. Okay. Let's slide that off and see how it looks on our champagne. Gonna straighten my loop out here on the end. Gonna little cattywampus. Let's see what this looks like when we actually put it on our card. Here's our champagne, guys. Not quite straight. You could manipulate this a little bit to straighten everything out in a line. Isn't that pretty? Very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kathy. Okay, so that's her. That's that one. I think we could have gone shorter on that ribbon. Let me measure. I said I wasn't going to measure, but since we're trying to get some accurate measures for these, let me try doing that. I'm going to try that with our regular organza, and I'm going to try that with a 2-foot piece. And let's see if I can tie that with a 2-foot piece. Let's go with her regular red bowmaker. So it was a 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Did I get it right? No, I got her in 2 teeth. There we go. 5. 1. 5. And back to 3 again. I think it's going to work on a 2-foot piece. I was right the first time, guys. I said 2 feet, then I corrected myself to a yard, and it turns out it really was 2 feet. Sorry. Your correction to your correction is 2 feet. That's what you have to have. Now, if you want to have ends to wrap it around, you're going to have to go longer than that because this is what I have left to tie off. So you're going to have to go longer if you want to wrap it around your card.
Kind of.
Am I frozen? I'm buffering.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. It does work with a 2-foot piece of ribbon, but cut it longer if you want to wrap around your card. Ooh, that's pretty. I think this would be fabulous on a wedding card. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous. Okay. So we've tied 3 of those. We've ascertained now that our minimum length for our ribbon, minimum length is 2 feet. Let's go to the next one on our list. We have something that Daria tied. She calls her serendipity bow. She tied it on accident. It turned out perfect. She loved it. She calls it her serendipity. Have I used this one yet? This is one of my favorite ribbons. I can't believe I didn't use this one yet. Let's tie a serendipity bow. I'm going to say we need 2 feet for this one. The That should allow for this ribbon. I think that should allow long enough to wrap it around your card if you want to. And Kathy's recipe, or excuse me, Daria's recipe is 4-5-5. 4-5-5. I'm using a 1/2 inch piece of ribbon. I could use a 5/8 and it'd still turn out good, I think. 4, 4, 5, 5, and then we're going to go back to 5 again. She said she meant to tie a 4-5-4, but she ended up tying a 4-5-5, and she loved how it turned out. And I tied one of these, and I really liked it too. So let's do a 4-5-5, which will give us a 2-inch bow, and we'll have one small loop on top of 2 big loops. A 4-5-5. This is our serendipity bow from Daria. Here we go. Now you can either leave it down like that, or you can kind of pull the smaller bow up on top. When I used it last time, I actually left the little loop down, and I liked it. But I think I could pull that loop up on top if I wanted to. The serendipity bow. Yeah, I think I could pull it up here onto the top of the others if I wanted it there. Or I can let it lay at the bottom. The serendipity bow, 4-5-5. That's contributed by Daria. So that's our recipe there. Let's tie one more of those. We could tie it in our champagne. We're still working on our champagne recipes. And you can see that 2 foot turned out just right. So 2 feet is the answer for this one. 2 foot ribbon. We'll go back and pick up ribbon links for the others, okay? Let's try that 4-5-5 on the blueberry bowmaker again. 4, 5, and then another 5. Our serendipity bow. They're very pretty that our friends contributed, aren't they? I'm loving it. Okay, the 2 feet of ribbon is just right. Let's spread those petals out a little underneath there. This almost looks like a bow that has been tied in 2 pieces. Here's our serendipity bow when I move the small petals on top of the big ones.
Say hi.
Hi, Karen. There's Daria's serendipity bow. 2 feet of ribbon, best tied with, I'm going to say 1/2 inch to, I think you could use 3/8. 3/8 up to probably 5/8 ribbon on that one. I think is going to be some of your best. Okay, we have another contributed recipe by Kathy S. And this one is going to be a delicate thing. Let's use a piece of our 1/4-inch ribbon. I'm going to use this really pretty green. Come on. And it's really kind of a variation, I think, on her original recipe. She's just taking it smaller. Well, I would really like to show you this in green. If I could find the end of my thread. There it is. It was unwrapped in the box and I wasn't seeing it. Okay. I'm going to say this is probably going to take a yard again because we're making 5 loops. So let's go. Oh, wait. Now we decided it didn't. No, we did, or we didn't need a yard. I think we needed a yard on the 5 one, didn't we? No? Well, let's try it with we'll try it with a 2-foot piece and see what we think. Let's try it with 2 feet. Okay. You can tie this one on your little bow maker. This one, we're going to start at 2. I'm going to turn this over so I can see my numbers. We're going to start at 2. And 2. And then she went to 4. And then she went to, oh, she was tying it on the big bow maker. Let's go to 5. And then back to 4. So and then back to 2 again. So it's 2, 4, 5, 4, 2. So this is a variation on the other one that she gave us. It's going to have a super small petal in the middle. Yes, you could tie this with 2 feet at 1/4 inch at least. You could tie it with 2 feet of ribbon. That's what it looks like from the back of your bow maker. Or that's from the front, as the case may be. Now this is very delicate and beautiful. Look how delicate and beautiful that is. You guys see that well? I don't know if it makes it better or worse if I come closer. Oh, it works out okay.
Yeah.
So this is a variation on the last one that she gave us. This was a 2, 4, 5, 4, 2. Let's tie that on the red bow maker where she actually gave me the recipe. And let's tie that in our champagne because we're trying everything in champagne. Give you all the best ideas we've got. We might try and tie this one a little bit wider. If you're making a wedding card, you might actually find that you have room to tie it even larger. Let's see what else we have to tie this in. Let me peruse my collection here momentarily. And let's see what else we have that we can try and tie this in. Okay, so this is going to be 2, 4, 1 on the red bowmaker. 2,
2, 4, 1 or 2, 4, 5?
2, 4, 1.
You're changing the recipe?
Yes, because we're on the red bowmaker. 4. She skipped the 5 and went straight to 1 on the red bowmaker. 2, 4, 1, the big one. Back to 4. So we're on the red. 2, 4, 1, 4, 2. And let's see what we end up with here. Shimmy that all up. Come through at 0. Shimmy it all down. Okay. And let's pull that up. And let's see how this looks with our champagne ribbon. Now this is a little longer, it's proportionally longer on the long loop than the other one was when it was tied evenly on the blue. See, our longest loop is longer when we tie it on the red, going 2, 4, 1, 4, 2. So the bow ends up being a little different on our red. Okay. Now let's try and tie that bigger just to see what will happen. Let's try it with some crepe because crepe doesn't have an awful lot of bulk to it. Let's just try it and see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to cut a 2-foot piece of crepe. I think I like the proportions personally off the blueberry better, where everything was kind of more even. And I want to go to the first one of the two. Let's do the 3, 5. Let's see. Her first one. Oh, she used the red on this one. Let's do the 3, 5, 1. Let's do this in the 3. I'm on the red bowmaker again. Sorry, guys, I switched. 3, because I wanted to follow her pattern exactly. 5. This is with a wider ribbon this time, so we're just trying it to see what it looks like. And we're using the crepe because it's a lightweight. It's wider, but it's very lightweight. We're going around the 1, 3, 5, 1. And we're coming back to 5. I do have to keep pushing it down because the ribbon is so much wider. 5. 3. That's a lot of ribbon on there. And it's clear to the end of my comb. This may or may not work. We'll find out. But we'll know for sure, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's pull this down. Then we're going to come in through the center. We're going to kind of pull it up top. I have no idea what we're going to get, guys. We'll find out. Yeah, I don't like the bowmaker with the grosgrain ribbon either, Karen. I agree with you. Ooh, this is very fluffy. I love it. Oh, I'm not sure you could pull this off if it weren't for crepe. You might do it in organza. I'm not sure you could pull this off if it weren't crepe ribbon. Oh, look at that. It's so fluffy looking. I love it. What do you guys think? I think it's just marvelous. Kind of reminds me of the ruffles in a dress, you know, where everything's gathered. Isn't it pretty? I love that. Can you arrow down, please?
You're at the bottom.
Beautiful. I love it in the crepe, I gotta say. And you know what? This still has like very little bulk to it. It's like a normal ribbon. You know, it's like a normal bow, but with the crepe, it is just fabulous. This has got to be my favorite of the day right here. Wow.
Betty suggests using the big white bowmaker.
Oh, you want to try that? Use the big white bowmaker. I can grab that. Let's try it. I love this. I just love this. So Kathy Girl's recipes, she gave us 4 different variations, but they're all similar in that they're using, let me just give you the recipes one at a time here. Maybe you can put these down, honey. Don't label them or anything because it's too many numbers, okay? Just 3, 5, 1, 5, 3 is their base one. That was the first one she gave me. Boy, I love that last one. I just gotta say, that is super gorgeous.
Next.
3, 4, 1, 4, 3 on the red bowmaker. These first 2 were both on the red. And then on the blueberry bowmaker, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, and 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. So you can see it's just variations on a theme to get those. And I would say that the wider your ribbon, generally, the bigger your number should be as you trek through those. Let's get that We Are Memory Keepers bowmaker. I've got it right here. Excuse me. I'll like start off camera and grab it out of my drawer.
Which one was the last fluffy one?
That one
was that
was the 3, 5, 1, 5, 3 on the red bowmaker with 7/8 inch. Is that 7/8 inch? I believe that's 7/8 inch ribbon, crepe ribbon. No, it's 3/4 inch crepe ribbon. Sorry, 3/4 inch crepe ribbon. Okay, let's try this with an even wider ribbon on the big bowmaker, the biggest one. Let's go here. I've got this blue and gold and a 1 inch. I'm thinking this would be great for a hair bow. So let's make a hair bow, Betty S. Or MS, Betty McSorley. We're going to make a hair bow on our embellishment addict, or no, we are memory keepers bowmaker. I'm going to cut a yard of this because this is going to be ginormous. But we're going to try a hair bow using our great big bowmaker. Okay, so let's start at, since we are making a hair bow, I'm going to start at 3. Is that going to be too big? Let's go to 2. We don't want it at 2? I don't know. We might have to tie it more than once to figure out what we're doing since it's just a brand new experiment. I went to 2. The first tying in from the wide one in the center. 2. Let's do 4. Let's do 5. We might need a longer piece of ribbon. We're going to need longer than a yard to do this. Okay, we got to. I got to try again. I'm going to make this tail shorter. I'm going to still do 2. Let's see if I can make this work if I don't go quite so far. 2, let's just do 3. Just because my ribbon's not going to be long enough. 3, 2, 3, 4. I think it'll work now. I'm not positive. It's going to be close. 3, 2. Ah! It's going to be really close, guys. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to scooch up my ribbon here. Trying to move just a little bit of my ribbon from my tail to the. Okay, so that was our 5. This is our 4. 4. No, this is that was 4. Oh, I'll repeat it in a second. Right now, I just got to focus on getting it tied. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Wow, you're going to need a long piece of ribbon with this big one. I got to say, I'm going to say 4-foot piece of ribbon to tie this bow that we're tying right now, which actually would be beautiful on a like a wedding gift or a hair bow. I still don't know that I have enough ribbon to do it. I might have to just do this one all over with a longer piece of ribbon because we can kind of get a view of what's going to happen, but we don't have enough for tails. Wow. Okay, let's see what we get, Betty. It's pretty. It'd be beautiful on a package top. It'd be beautiful. Ignore my really terrible tails on this one because I really frayed it out trying to get it done, but it is pretty. This would be beautiful on a hair bow, wouldn't it? Put that on a bow clip. It'd also be pretty for the top of a package. I love that, the way the light plays on that. This is the 1-inch woven iridescent ribbon. That's gorgeous. You want me to do this one again with a better length of ribbon? Let's do it again. I have another color here. Well, get rid of that big old frayed piece underneath. I'll get rid of this one just because I cut off the other one. That is pretty. There you go, Betty McSorley. I do want you to see that because it is pretty. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. With 5 agents. Oh wow. Let's do it. Okay, but okay, let's do that one that you just did, Andrea. I have glitter ribbon right here. I have kind of a champagne color. Let's do this one. Well, is it champagne? It's kind of pink champagne. But how long is your ribbon? Did you cut it a little over a yard? 4 inches long. Okay. I'm going to cut this about 4 feet long, so we have plenty of ribbon. This will be pink champagne because it's glittery. Okay, so you did a 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Let's try it. Show everybody what it looks like. So when you're doing that, are you counting, whoops. Are you counting the first time or going out to this first one beyond the center? I'm going to go to the first one beyond the center. 1, 2, 2, 3.
Oh, she knows that's corrected it to 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. So yeah.
Then the smaller numbers again, number 3, number 2. You know, I can't win for losing, guys. Look how much I'm going to have left. I just can't seem to guess the amount of ribbon I need. Let's try this. Bring this beautiful sparkly ribbon down through the center. We do have this sparkly ribbon in the store too.
Say hi to Annette.
Hi, Annette. Okay, through. Let's see what that looks like. Pull it top. Slide it off. Oh, that's pretty. Very, very pretty. Just pulling all these out a little bit because they kind of crunch up in there. Having so much material. That's beautiful. It's like black. Wrap it around their black so you can see it. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Thanks for sharing that idea. You guys are full of wonderful ideas. I love it, love it, love it when you share your thoughts and your ideas. Now, this bow would be beautiful on a package. It'd be beautiful on a hair bow. It even would be beautiful on a card if this were the focal point. You know, if you didn't do a lot of other things and you just put a bow in the center with maybe a decorative paper, this would be fabulous with that. Wouldn't it? Yeah. So good idea, Betty McSorley, to get her big comb out and try it. All right. So let's talk about how much ribbon you need. With these, number 1, the singles, you can generally tie a single with a foot of ribbon. You can tie a single with a foot. If you have 18 inches to 2 feet, depending on the width of your ribbon, you can tie a double. A triple is going to take 2 feet of ribbon, as is a 515. It's going to take 2 feet of ribbon. I think we've ascertained that we're safest to cut a yard of ribbon for some of these specialty bows. We need a full yard to do these 5-loop bows. And if it happens to be an especially wide ribbon, you might even want 4 feet. The good news is when I tie something like this and I have a foot of ribbon left over, I can clip that off. I can keep my beautiful bow, and I can come back in here to my bowmaker and I can tie a single and not waste, maybe even a double, but probably a single, and not waste this beautiful ribbon. So the good news is that I can use up any of my shorter pieces tying some really beautiful singles. So let's kind of recap what we've done here today, because we've had lots of numbers and lots of things. See, and I'm not wasting that beautiful piece of glittered ribbon. I can come back in as long as I have a foot or so. I can come back in and tie a beautiful single bow to use up that ribbon. So today we have tied single bows. Our recipe is anywhere from a 2 to the end of our comb for a single. You can use any material from the lightest weight 1/8" ribbon clear up to heavy ribbon if you're using either the We Are Memory Keepers or the red comb. You can even tie that with crocheted ribbon. So your ribbon weight is extremely flexible, and that's our single. You'll generally need 1 foot to tie a single. Our doubles are best tied generally with 1 inch or smaller ribbon, and you're going to need 18 inches of ribbon, roughly 18 inches to tie a double. Our triples are going to need a 2-foot piece, 2 feet to tie a triple. Best tied usually with 5/8 inch or smaller. Our loopy bows, you're going to need at least a yard, if not, 4 feet, because you're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So use 3 feet for a loopy bow or more, 3 feet or more. When I tie this one, I'm using 2 1 yard pieces of baker's twine, because you want to double your baker's twine. Then getting up to the 5/15 bows. The 5/15s generally require 2 feet. You can do a 5/15 and 2 feet of ribbon. Best sizes are going to be 7/8 and smaller. I'm going to say 1/2 inch. Well, 5/15s, you can do 3/8 to 7/8. Then we get up to these 5-loop bows. You're generally going to want a yard of material. You're generally going to want a yard. And I'm going to say that with the crepe ribbon, you can go clear up to 3/4 of an inch, depending on how heavy the material is. If the material is light, like the crepe, you can do 3/4 inch material. it's generally going to like 3/8 to 1/2 inch is probably the ideal for cards. You can use, if we're tying hair bows, you can get into a lot bigger ribbon, hair bows and then bows for packages. You can use clear, 1 inch and above. You can even use like 1.5 inch ribbon if you're tying hair bows or bows for packages. And again, the flexibility of the material is going to come into play a little bit there in how nicely they pull together and tie off. You guys got ideas, suggestions that we haven't done? Did we answer all your questions? We've talked about the length of ribbon you need. We talked about all different kinds of materials to use. I think we've assigned a material to most styles. You guys want to see what's coming up? You guys ready for show and tell? Is my voice not going through?
Excuse me?
My voice is going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys ready for show and tell? Nobody's answering. Anybody ready for show and tell? Show us. Well, I was worried there. You weren't hearing me. Okay. Now that I have all my bows neatly organized, I'm going to mess them up. I think I can identify everything when I go to put my board together. I'm excited about putting my board together now.
Thelma asked if you've tried embroidery thread, 6 strands at once.
No, I have not tried embroidery thread. I'll bet it'd be gorgeous. I'll bet it'd be beautiful. I don't have any up here, or I would try it because that sounds fun. That sounds beautiful. Okay, here we go. I'll slide all my bows out of the way so you can see. Let me slide all my bowmakers out of the way because that ends up being a lot of plastic. Move. All right, are you ready? Give Honey back the yardstick. Move all those pins so I don't stab myself. Not that I'm not going to stab myself anyway, because it probably will happen. So, Mary R., you asked for the dog kit. And you guys have also asked me for some ideas for how to use the flowers that we have created. Here's our angel with our puppy. And there's one of our roses we made and the leaves off of our mold I used, and the kit will contain, I used a big rose hip stamen here and 3 little stamen. I will not be putting the flowers in your kit, but I will put the accents in your kit. So I'll give you the glittered stamen and the rose hip for this card. I glittered my angel just a little bit, just to kind of tie in the glitter in my stamen and things. Next, here's another one of our roses from class. Once again, did I put it? Yeah, I put glitter on the angel wings. I don't know how much that comes through, but in person, it's beautiful. If you have your flowers that you've made, you are ready to go. You know, there's so many colors in these angel toppers, guys. Your flower colors do not have to match mine in order for these cards to look beautiful because there's so many colors in the cards. In this one, I thought it would look nice to bring in, because I had a lot of pink on this card with the flower and then the pink background. I thought it'd be pretty to bring some of the green in, so I'm giving you some green to match your leaves in the back there in my layering. Here's some of the flowers we made in class. This time I used 2 of them. I was running out of background paper by here, so what I did is, this is a piece of the cardstock from my kit. I just cut that to be the same size as my tag, offset it just a little bit. Then I used our putting stickers on our mirror board technique to make it look etched around it. And used my flowers at the corners. Thank you, Mary R. Here's our puppy again. Here's our puppy again. So you can see, look at all the colors in that angel topper. I could have used any color flower and it would look beautiful. It would have looked beautiful with any flower. The flower kind of, its petal was pushed up a bit. It's one of my foam flowers there. Now, if you did not do the flower kit, we do still have flower kits available, and I linked you in the newsletter to the video where we did the flowers. If that's still not going to be an option, we do have a few pre-made flowers in the store, and I also linked you to that in the newsletter. We got 7 cards out of the Spirit Animals kit in the little angels. This one I used 2 little flowers. See that? I have 1 flower and then another one kind of peeking out behind it. And then I used the stamen just to kind of give that a little extra oomph and I will include the stamen in your kit. So these will be in your kit. The flowers and the leaves will not, because you have those from your flower kit. And that allowed me to keep the price of this kit really reasonable too. I love this one. This is one I did out of velvet paper. Oh, I can't help but pet this flower. When I touch it, it looks so real because it's out of that velveteen paper. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And this time I used some extra leaves and brought the leaves and the swirls out from the corner. And this is my absolute favorite out of this kit. I went flower crazy on this one. Do you remember when we made these flowers? These are the ones that Bryce suggested making the backgrounds yellow. You remember these? And then I used some of my little yellow foam flowers. This is the one we colored with gelatos. We stamped it first, so you can see the stamp lines in there. If you're wondering whether the stamps are worth having, look how nice the stamp lines look in there. And then it has gelatos in the center, and then we put the stamen through. And then I made 2 matching ones, and I put rhinestones in the centers of those, because I still had some left after class. And I put rhinestones in the centers of the other flowers. But see another flower that we can do with that rose mold by opening it up and using it as flower petals. It looks more like a wild rose where it's all completely open. But I thought that was pretty. Beautiful. 7 cards. Using your own flowers and your own leaves. I'll add the stamen to the kit. So you have these nice accent pieces that you can put in yours. The colors may vary, but they'll all be beautiful. I promise you that. It doesn't really, it's the shape. It's bringing the shape of the flowers out and kind of accenting those flowers more than what colors I use. So the colors may vary in the stamen, but they will all be beautiful. And 7 cards. This is next Saturday. Spirit animals from the little angels, our own flowers. So I was hearing you say you were looking for some ideas for how to use those flowers, and I thought, well, I'm already doing the angels. Let's just get both of those in there. And I thought that the roses were just especially beautiful with the elegance of the angels. So I hope you like those. I love them. I thought they were really, really pretty. So we've got our angels. We can be putting some bows on if we want. We've got some beautiful roses. We are great.
Yes.
Any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom? Any thoughts? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 7 cards. Yeah, I think it works out to about $1.50 a card actually, Mary, because it's $10, 7 cards, but it's still a really good deal. Still a really good deal. Yes, share to Pinterest. I love that. Share to Pinterest, share to Facebook. Tell your friends and neighbors what we're doing here, because what we're doing is lots of fun. We need more iced. What does that mean? We need more. Oh, more ideas for vellum. Is that what you're saying, Roberta? More ideas on using vellum? Ideas for using vellum. Okay. Well, your flowers are one idea for vellum. Does those turn out beautiful? I didn't happen to use my vellum rose. Look at this jug of flowers I have done here. I really got into making my flowers, but we can make absolutely gorgeous flowers out of vellum. Remember, with these, I am coloring on the back of the flowers, and then that color comes through just magnificently on the vellum. So we can definitely do that. We got lots and lots of flowers here. I need to make lots more cards with flowers because I've kind of gone flower crazy. I need to make some more flowers before next week so I can replicate these card designs for next week. Okay, see everybody Wednesday. Yes, we will be back for What's New Wednesday on Wednesday. On Thursday, I don't have a sample to show you yet because I haven't done it yet. On Thursday, we're doing our layered cards with sets 1 through 4 in our scenery stamping. And it is going to be a blast. It is going to be lots of fun. And I promise our card is going to be stunning. It's going to be beautiful. So that's what we have coming up on the week. And you have a pretty good idea laid out in our newsletter about what's coming up over the next several weeks. So unless there's any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, I'm going to say good night, Gracie.